Let's go, family. You have 1 minute to get to class. 1 minute to get to class. Share with everyone. Share, share, share. Class is in session. You have less than a minute to get to class.
School makes students poor. And PhD stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. The riskiest thing you can do is go to school, learn from a fake teacher, put your money with a financial planner, and work hard for fake money and pay a lot of taxes. What the Federal Reserve Bank, our banks, and our school system's doing is criminal. It's ripping off my generation, ripping off your generation. You know, this is my book, Fake. The reason it's fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets is because it all has to be fake. You have to have fake teachers to understand fake money. Then you have to have fake assets to buy those stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, fake assets. But without fake teachers, fake money, you can't do it. And one of the best things I had is I went to military school, then I went to flight school. I had such great teachers, you know. All of them could fly. You know, so my flight instructor could fly. What a novel idea. You know, a flight instructor can fly. But when I was in high school, most of my teachers were terrified. They're all cowards, you know, job security. Don't make mistakes. Just memorize the right answer and you'll be safe. In school, they compensate for risk by telling you to memorize the right answer. So in other words, these kids leave school thinking, oh, if I know the right answers, then there's no risk. And it drives old guys like me crazy. Because everybody's talking about millennials. What's wrong with them? You know, millennials are the most highly educated generation in history. They know all the answers, but they're afraid of doing anything. And the reason they can't do anything is because you might hurt somebody's feelings. You might make a mistake. You know, and this just keeps you guys just trapped in this little box. Education is more important than before, but you got to be careful what you're learning. That's why I wrote the book, Fake Money, Fake Teachers, and Fake Assets. Don't listen to fake teachers. Yeah, I have a friend. He teaches entrepreneurship at UC Santa Barbara. And I call him up and I say, how in the world can you teach entrepreneurship? He says, well, I have a master's degree. I said, ask the question again. What gives you the right to teach your entrepreneurship? He says, I have a master's degree in entrepreneurship. And I say, hey, Doug, you and I have been friends for a long time. You've never started a business. You're a fake teacher. He goes, but I have all the answers. I said, yeah, but you don't know how to start a business. Some of the biggest fake teachers are those financial planners. They're telling you, you know, to save money. Why would you save money when the government's printing money? Then they tell you to invest for the long term in the stock market. And you guys know the stock market is ultra short term. There's high frequency trading. Today, long term is a split second. But they're telling you, guys like my generation, to keep your money in the stock market for 40 years and you have nothing left at the end of it. And you look at all the pensions of the school teachers, firefighters, and all the guys with 401ks, they're all bankrupt because Wall Street stole their money from them. You know? And the Federal Reserve Bank, they're run by PhDs, like my poor dad. And PhD stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. The Fed has not been right in years. Everybody worships the Federal Reserve Bank. They're the guys stealing from our pension systems. It's horrible what's going on because we have all these PhDs, poor, helpless, and desperate people who are risk averse. My rich dad always said, never say, I can't afford it. And it was my rich dad and many of my teachers subsequent to that. They said, lazy people always say, I can't afford it. I don't have the money. That's why they're poor. They have a poor mindset. So instead of figuring out how to raise money, it's just really easy to be a loser. And I call it losers. It pisses them off because we all have the power, if we wanted to not be poor if we learned how to raise money. My poor dad, my PhD father, he always said to me, he says, you know, I'd be a rich man if I didn't have you kids. And I said, well, you know, Dad, it's not my fault you had kids. You know, I mean, you know, I just can't afford it because I have kids. And the more he said that, the angrier I got. So when I met my rich dad at age 9, you know, he says, well, that's why your old man's poor, because he's lazy. He thinks his PhD is going to carry him. He says, everybody can say, I don't have money, I can't afford it. He says, that's why he's poor. He's lazy. Over my lifetime, most of the projects I've started, I've never had any money. I like not having money because it forces me to think. I get creative. I have to educate myself. I have to talk to rich guys. Hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And what has happened to me, I mean, I just turned 72. I've never needed money because if I need money, I figure out how to raise it. It's easy to say I can't afford it. All the poor people say I can't afford it. All the poor people say, well, it's tax the rich. All the poor people are saying, well, give me a free education, free food, free schooling, free manicures, free pedicures. There's laziness, my opinion. Only lazy people use their own money. And that's what really pissed off a lot of people out there. Because you calling me lazy? I said, yes, I am. Because you're the same type of person who will say, I can't afford it. I can't do that. That's the problem. It's up here. I can't do that. Most of my family say, well, I can't afford it. My father taught me to say that. My mother taught me to say that. My rich dad should never say that. The number one way to raise income is sales. Do they teach you sales in school? But if you work for a network marketing company, you learn sales. So that's why President Trump, I know people hate Trump, they hate me too. But President Trump and I are the only people that recommend network marketing. Because in network marketing, you have to go through your fear and you have to learn how to sell. So the reason I'm an entrepreneur is I know how to make money. I know how to acquire assets. I know how to use debt to acquire assets. That's real financial education, not the garbage you're teaching in school. Let me say it one more time. If you're going to be an employee or a doctor or a lawyer, then traditional education is really important. But you're going to be an entrepreneur, you don't need to. School.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Parker, on your retirement. We'll be happy to cash out your retirement account today. Just a few of the details. Great. Now let me go get your money. There's a little bit more. Okay, we have 5, 10, 15, 20. That's it. Now don't spend it all in one place.
You're listening to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 with your host, Sean L. Let and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
My brothers, to think about your mothers. Think about what they went through to get you where you are. Come on. And think about your mother and think about the mothers of those whose lives we have taken. And if you went to a funeral of your homies, and you witness the mothers crying, how could you leave there not feeling that pain and go and kill another mother's child? There's something wrong with us that we have become so cold, so callous, and so hardened that life has no meaning. Beg you, from my love for you, to stop the killing, because in a few days, most of you will be dead. I'm going to say it again. I'm looking at a funeral parlor. I'm looking at a funeral parlor. I'm going to start with Muslims. Because, see, we have knowledge. Most of us that are in the mosque or in the masjid that were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know what your brothers and sisters may not know of who you are and who they are. And if they don't know who they are and you know, then what is the duty of the civilized man? And if the civilized man fails to perform his duty, what must be done? Go to a mosque and hear a lecture and then leave your people where they are? Some of you walk right by your brother. Won't say nothing to him. Walk by the prostitute as though she's some dirty thing when you know what you were brought from. You walk by a gangbanger. You don't say nothing to him when you know what you were brought from. That's strong, brother minister. When the nation of Islam went down, our light went out, and the darkness covered the people. And out of that darkness came up men and women of hardness, like the creatures of darkness. And I'm tired of looking like I'm some damn entertainer that you come out to hear, then take your dumb self back and do the same damn thing you've been doing. Yes, sir, right there. Yes, sir. Whether you're in the masjid, come on now, or in the mosque, we have to come back together and lift up a light in the darkness, or we are sentenced to death. I'm turning you over to death because I'm tired of grieving mothers taking their babies to cemeteries, and we can't wait to smoke another one. I'm tired of seeing us bowing down, saying prayers in hypocrisy while our people are dying in the streets. I'm tired. But the blood of the people that are dying in the street, they're on the hands of every one of you who fail in your duty as a civilized man and a civilized woman. And I'm willing to die for you. If my death would bring you up from where you are, I would die in the next minute, because I can't bear to live and see you like this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't bear the pain of these mothers. Yes, sir. And if I can't do nothing to change the reality that put these grieving mothers where they are, what the hell is the sense of living?
Ready for Revolution, Brother Eric Ture Muhammad here. Pray all is well with you and yours. Class is in session. I'm not going to go through the traditional unpacking of what the series of videos we just watched, but we did it with a purpose, because we're in the last portion of the 4 spiritual laws for growing abundance, and that's divine purpose. So I want to thank all of you who participated in this series. It'll move to the YouTube channel, Eric Ture Muhammad, for you to pull down and continue to unpack and share with other people. But I want you to know that I'm very full, because I really believe in my heart of hearts that I understand the direction of where we're going as wealth builders, as legacy leavers, as fortune developers, as a world of abundance. Abundance is our birthright, and someone stole it from us. Now we have the opportunity to regain a rightful place. So in the first part of this series, we dealt with the power of tithing and understanding that tithing really is not charity, and that tithing really isn't just dedicated to spiritual centers, churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, the like. You know, that was something that was introduced as Christianity grew, but it was in the world. Gregorian histories show it. It was in the world before it was implemented into the church. Tithing was allowed or designed to help buttress and support those entities in their existence. And so it was adopted into the worship houses. It was adopted into spiritual centers. And somewhere along the line, just like where we confuse luxury with money, we've confused tithing with charity. Tithing allows you to build your storehouse so that you, in fact, can give. But if you give away a need, or you give away to people or entities in need, you will remain in need. So tithing is designed to support what you want to do of good. And we've determined in that part 1 that all good is good. All giving is good. Then we moved into the second portion of the presentations, and the second portion dealt with goal setting, where it required laser focus. It required knowing your end game. What do you hope to achieve? Getting out of the immediate understanding now, but getting out of immediate gratification. Understand the difference between immediate gratification and immediate needs. Learning how to distinguish, and then prioritizing to the point where you now move out with the massive action required to grow towards your goal, your dream. We talked about having dream, desire, determination, discipline, and having those 4 Ds, those 4 elements allows you to grow your abundance. And we went on into the third portion to talk about forgiveness. How when you don't forgive yourself, when you hold on to grudges, you block your blessings. Because the person that you're upset with 9 times out of 10 does not have the same mission that you have. The person you're upset with 9 times out of 10 don't even know why you're really upset. At the root, they don't know. At 9 times out of 10, you'll find that the issue is not the person outside of you. The issue is with you as an individual, because we put on people what we want them to be, what we want them to do, and ignore the fact that God has given them their own mission, their own sense of purpose. That's why, as entrepreneurs, as wealth builders, as people who have an opportunity to articulate, we don't try to convince anyone if we understand our true role and mission. We just want to make plain delivery of the message. So that was part 3. Now we're here at divine purpose. Now, I don't want you to necessarily focus on how I'm saying a thing, because again, I'm quite passionate. Again, I don't always use the best of King's English. I think I've done pretty good with this series thus far, and with these sessions that I do Monday through Saturday morning, because I haven't been cussing. I think Ramadan has a lot to do with it. It does strip a lot of things away. And I just want us to really focus on the severity of the need for our living our purpose. I borrowed this from Miss Tanisha Glaspie, and it says, God would not have put a dream in your heart if he hadn't already given you everything you need to fulfill it. That means, family, that there's nothing that I can impart on you that is not already there. God is perfect in his make. He's included all the ingredients. They just need the right temperatures. They need the right lighting. They need the right watering. They need the proper environment to germinate into the reality. Mind you, the talents and skill sets that we have are gifts from the God. How we utilize them is our gift back to him. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, in divine purposes, there's a duality to recognize. God is the creator, and God is a creator. Look at your Bible, the Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered in one place, and let the dry ground appear. And it was so. And God saw that the light was good. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. And God saw that it was good. Man, look. The first thing we learn in those passages of Genesis is that, well, let me enlarge it so maybe you can see it better. The first things we learn about those passages in the Genesis, they're speaking about the attributes of the God, right? But his role as a creator is the first divine quality presented in the book. Now, there's other significant roles and attributes that could have been shown. It could have been his power, his wrath, or a demand for allegiance. You know, those are common attributes described to a deity, right? We talk about being all powerful and omnipotent and possessor of power over all things. And yeah, those are elements, but there was a choice made. And that choice was to identify with God in the Genesis from a different perspective, from God as creator and life giver. So that's the first thing, okay? And then the second thing is we learn about God. What we learn about him is that he views his creation as good. He takes satisfaction in what he brings into existence and declares it sufficient. Let there be light, and the light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good. Let the water under the sky be gathered in one place, and let the dry ground appear. And it was so. And God saw that the light was good. And he saw that the water that it was good. That's what it should say. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. And God saw that it was good. The creator and the created world, there's a distinction. The created world was distinct from God, meaning its purpose was to exist as separate from God, but in concert with his divine plan. So right off the bat, Genesis paints God as a creator and says that what he creates is good. That meant God is the universe's first entrepreneur, and the universe is his venture. Man, look. So it even gets deeper in the narrative, because God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. That's what the Genesis says, right? Men and women are both described as beings made to resemble God, the ultimate proof of their intrinsic value. In the verse that followed, and you can go to the Genesis 27, 28, and 29, first chapter, or first book rather, first chapter, 27, 28, 29. In those verses that followed, they are given what is called the cultural mandate amongst religious scholars. The cultural mandate is where stewardship over the earth and the instruction of the populated and building societies, all that was inculcated in those few verses. So what is really telling us is that humanity is made in God's image. God is the creator and he creates good things. Therefore, men and women are meant to be creators and create good things. Also, I don't want to lose this point. Now, we can create things that are good, just as God's creation was good. You agree? But I understand this to mean that we can also make things that improve the world around us. Divine purpose. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of wrong in the world. You did see and hear from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan before coming on, and he talked about the pain and how he's tired. My Lord. Okay. He talked about the fatigue, how he could not bear watching grieving mothers over the loss of the life of their children. All of us suffer loss. We're in a pandemic now that we find ourselves suffering loss and suffering sickness and suffering from a change of world that we were not ready or prepared to let go of. Part of the forgiveness element in the previous session yesterday was to let it go. Yesterday's home run will not win today's game. You're in a new game. This is a new reality. This is a new world. We have to let the former things pass away, because now we had to find ourselves productive in a way where we justify our presence into a new world that God has ushered forth. We're talking about a divine purpose now. This is something that's not really up to you. It's not really up to me. I didn't shut down Europe. You didn't shut down Asia. We didn't shut down Africa. We didn't shut down the so-called Middle East. We didn't shut down these populations on continents around the world. We didn't produce the closed door orders. We didn't produce the social distancing. But the Creator exercised his stop clause all over the world at the same time. And as the folks fumble around in news, news cycles, and as our leaders are grabbing at straws, trying to make sense and trying to make it sound like it's normal, that it's going to be all right. There's never been a time such as this, family, other than what you might have read prophetically. Now it's in our face. So is it to say that this is the rapture? Is it to say that this is the judgment? Is it to say that this is the growth or the coming upon of Armageddon? Is it to say this is the end of the world? Yes, this is to say all of that. The only difference is it's not our world that's ending. There's a new world beginning. If you don't believe that, think about the fact that in the midst of all this pandemic and God bringing everything to a halt, new life is still coming into the world. People are being born every day. And there are generations to receive that new birth. And those generations are prepared with a particular skill set by which they will navigate in the new world. And we are still here. There's a role, there's a divine purpose, there's an order. Okay. So now, Genesis did describe the fall of man. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan articulated in that passage that we shared with you this morning, right? That pain, that death in the world distorts our relationship, humanity's relationship with God and with each other. So someone has to bring it to a grinding halt to return the perspective, because it's created much suffering. And now it gives us extra urgency to enforce that cultural mandate of stewardship over the earth. So God brings everybody to a halt to remind us of our duty to him and to each other. But he also makes it clear the vehicle by which we're to do it. I hope this is making sense. Look at the creation as a startup business. Look at it as a startup business. The God brought all the resources in place. He brought light, water, land, vegetation, air, the fish in the sea, the fowl on the land, the birds in the air, right? Every creeping thing and crawlers. He brought along humanity, right? It's a startup to the venture of proving that he's God. What a business. Okay. And then it goes awry, because in every startup there are kinks. Now, God is perfect in his make. I don't want you to think that we're citing imperfection in that sense. What we're saying that everything evolves stage after stage until it reaches eventual perfection. So in the startup, there are things that weren't as good as the light, as the water, as the land, as the sea and the air, and the vegetation that bore seeds. You know, there are things that weren't as good as the startup. Because the one thing that we have is free will. And our free will has mucked up a whole lot of stuff. So now God has to revamp the business model. What does this look like in everyday life? Well, for us as entrepreneurs, as dreamers, I'd say that it means striving to create companies that give people jobs, deliver valuable products and services, develop new technologies, and reward investors who can then reinvest in people and companies. Entrepreneurship can therefore be understood as something programmed into us by way of creation, a reflection of the creative spark that we can play a role in making the world a better place. Now, some of you heard, I forgot the screen was enlarged, I'm sorry. Some of you heard Robert Kiyosaki, and he described everything is fake. That's an awesome book, by the way. And he has another book dealing with the pensions. Look, he called PhDs poor, helpless, and desperate. Poor, helpless, desperate. That's what a PhD stands for. I was at a presentation with our senior partner, Mr. Michael L. Dalco, in Atlanta, Georgia, some months ago, and he was asking all of us, man, what's the name of that group? That group that is very popular, BBD. And people start yelling out, Bell Biv DeVoe. Yeah. He said, no, I'm talking about broke, busted, and disgusted. Oh, man. He said he was talking about broke, busted, and disgusted. I said, go ahead, Mr. Dalco. Look, when the God said, or it says of the God in the Bible, the making of man and woman, we were made after his own image, after his own likeness, male and female, both he made them. What it's saying is he authored the power of duplication. You see, everything that we reflect in networking is God. He's the first entrepreneur. He's the first networker. What did he do? He called everything into pairs. Okay? Male and female, land and water, light and dark. Everything was in pairs. What? So it would be duplicatable. In our world of wealth building, we have an opportunity to share in pairs, man. And we reflect the network. When you allow the system of God to take charge of your life, then you will duplicate your godhood. Male and female, he created them. In our system of networking, if you do as the successful has done, if you follow the model, if you follow the system, guess what will happen? You will reflect the success that's built into the model and the system. Thus, you are successful. So there are many of you who are watching and will be watching this stream that know nothing about Karatbars International. But I urge you to get back to the one who introduced the opportunity to you and let them know that you're ready to get started and figure out how you can change the reality in your home. How do we do it? We save in gold. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we don't buy it. We open up a free gold savings account. And that free gold savings account only requires our name, our telephone number, our shipping or mailing address. It requires an email address and a birth date. You choose your username, you choose your password, and once you've processed all of that, which takes maybe 3-4 minutes, then what's going to happen? You'll receive an email, and you will verify that the email that you submitted is your email, and that will open up a whole world of opportunity. You'll receive state-of-the-art 24/7 operative at no cost to you, a virtual office that we affectionately call the back office. This is where you can disappear off the grid and look to see how your money is moving. See, we learned that gold is money. Paper is not. This is money. That's gold, pure gold in the center of it. You see that there? This is paper. This is a note. That means it's a debt. All right. But what we do with it, while it still has some value, you remember that portion of what I shared with you earlier? That God created intrinsic value in us. Because we reflect him, we are a store of value. We are a store of labor. This is not. You can burn it. It's considered illegal, but you can burn it. You can write on it. Okay. You can wipe with it, because in a few days, that's all it's going to be worth. You can blow in it, but it can't store a whole value. But when you exchange this for its weight in this, you have successfully stored value and you have successfully stored labor, because gold is an indestructible element. It is the purest of the periodic metals. In fact, it is just as indestructible as the God that created it. He's giving you his vehicle of choice to produce his will in the world. We are servant leaders. It is our nature to serve humanity. Yeah, we've run through some kinks. We've had some challenges, but we're grown up now. The Bible also says, when I was a child, I did as a child, I understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away the childish things. See, I used to chase this paper. Yeah, I used to chase this as if, it was the end all, the be all. There was nothing further from the truth, because we weren't taught about what real money is. You saw what Mr. Kiyosaki said. In fact, when this stream is over, you need to go back and take another look at it. You should also go to our YouTube channel, Eric Ture Muhammad, and look at the episodes of Class in Session. Look at the other trainings that are there for Wealth Builders Worldwide. Learn more about this opportunity. In fact, you can look at this ticker and you can just go to www.goldnow.info. For those who have not been introduced to the opportunity, you need to go ahead and give at me. I'll get back at you and I'll show you. Just leave some contact information there and I'll get back to you. Family, you have a divine purpose that should never, ever be taken for granted. Ever. Because what you represent to the world is so valuable, more than what you know about yourself. And God has given us an opportunity by slowing us down, helping us to see our value in him, our need of him, and our value with and in each other. We're being reunited again by force, because we weren't willing to put down our training and do it by choice. So the whole world's been brought to a halt to recognize who's the boss. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared this with me once directly, and I shared it with you all often, I believe. He said, brother, why does Allah judge? And I gave my shallow answer. He said, brother, I didn't ask you that, and I don't have that kind of time. I asked you, why does God judge? Now I felt like a fool. And I go, dear Apostle, I just don't know. That's what I should have said from the beginning, right? He said, so that everyone will agree with him. And then he went on about his business. Look how simple that is. Look how simple it is to be an entrepreneur. Look how simple it is to be the networker, because all you're required to do is deliver a plain message. You're not required to talk about how gold was extracted from the earth and how it's been measured and placed in the periodic chart of elements and why it's number 79. And You're not required to do all that. You just know it's God's money. And all we have to do is go to people and say, this is all we have to do. Hey, do you look for ways to make more money? Do you keep your financial options open? I know you're busy. Everybody's busy. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But look, now we have a little break in it because in those same 24 hours, we have a world that we're doing nothing with. 8 hours of job now is on the couch. 16 hours if you're working overtime are between the couch, the kitchen, and the bed. The least you can do is take a look at an 8-minute video that shows you how you can grow a 6-figure income in your home. From the comfort and safety of your home to the extent that it will outstrip any desire to ever go back to a plantation, to ever go back and put up with clock it in, clock it out, and being satisfied with the crumbs that come between the hours you work, because the first one that gets paid is the government. Stimulate your own package. Control your own economy. Be the head of state in your own house. And I'm telling you, when that is accomplished, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said he needs 100 millionaires. Well, you got one talking to you. We got at least 10, 15, 20 more right on our heels in this opportunity. And you're here now. Oh, my goodness. Victor Gear. Hey, soldier. Brother, it's been a long time since we've talked. You see? You have that opportunity. Get back to the one that introduced it to you and let them know you're ready to get busy and get it in. Let them know, family, because I'm here to tell you, freedom is what it's all about. It's all about the freedom. And look, don't get caught up in titles. The beauty about gold is of equal yoke, right? That means whatever its value is here in America is the same value in Europe, is the same value on all the continents. In our wealth building, because we're dealing with an honest money, it keeps us honest. There's nothing that I could take from you from getting involved with it any more than you can take from me. And in this opportunity, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, your religious persuasion, your political philosophies, none of that comes into play. We're in the world, we're in trouble, and we have a solution. Those are common denominators in wealth builders. And we just share out of that. You're right, Brother David. Carrot bars will change your thinking. It's real talk. That's a fellow millionaire articulating that. That's right. You know, it will absolutely change your thinking. Last point I want to make before I move into the other portion of what I intended to share with you. That screen popped up so fast, I lost my point. I was so happy to see what's on this screen. But you have a plethora of opportunity in front of you. I like using that word plethora. So excuse me for trying to sound smart or intelligent, but y'all really know the truth. Carrot Bars International, with your free gold savings account, gives you access now to 148 countries. Do you know that China just entered an agreement with Carrot Bars as well as the government of India? That means that now you can do business in those countries and provide digital gold products. You don't have to leave your home. You don't have to leave your bedroom. You don't have to leave your bathroom. You got your phone with you. You're in business in over 140 countries worldwide. This is unreal. God has exposed the fake money and put the real money in the hands of the righteous. What are you going to do with this opportunity? Control the economy under your own roof. Do it now. You have the power and you have the opportunity. Let's get it in now. It is just that important. I want you to stay plugged in. You get plugged, you stay plugged. This is Thursday, y'all. Y'all know what happens. Mr. Gold Collector himself, Mr. Dante Taylor, is the convener of today's power call on www.goldrocks.info. That's at 10:45 a.m. Eastern, 9:45 Central. You all make it a point to get on this call, www.goldrocks.info. This thing is old, man. It is so hot. You get all the precious gems. You get to hear from all the leaders and the wealth builders. And Brother Dante and all the moderators, they have this way of bringing a perspective. And then they unpack it. And before you know it, you're up and running with your business. You can't wait to share this with anyone else. Then, for those who you know that need to know about this, you need to send them all to that same platform, www.goldrocks.info, because just after the conclusion of the power call, our wealth building presentation begins. We have two that run Monday through Saturday, 12 noon to 9 p.m. Eastern, and then we have Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. All www.goldrocks.info. It's Thursday. Get plugged, stay plugged. But Thursday is a busy day for your brother as well. I'm on all those platforms, but I'm also over here in the world of California radio. Here's a screenshot. I would like for all of you to take a picture of this. Take a picture so you know exactly the training times and opportunities that are available to you to get the support and help you might need with your business. You're in business for yourself, but you're never by yourself. There's 100,000 plus of us in Wealth Builders worldwide. There are 1 million affiliates worldwide in Carabal's International, and there are 8 billion people in the world. Let us help you help them, and eventually we'll all be helping ourselves. Okay? Now, what I was sharing with you. Hey, Sister Jocelyn Burrell. Good to see you, Queen. Sister Patricia Aou. Also, this is Thursday, midday, California Radio. I am the guest. I'm amped too. On midday with Tay and Toya. That means Brother Dante Taylor and Mr. Santoya Stacy. I will be their guest on the Power Hour. That's today at 3 p.m. Eastern. They're out there on the West Coast and Midwest, respectively. And I can't wait to chop it up with them. I'm quite excited. And then 9 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, Sister Denise Renee Muhammad, the #1 show on California Radio, Restoration of Body and Soul with Sister Denise. Man, please, they should change her name to Sister D Nice. Because what she brings is so awesome, man. The aromatherapy, the oils, the things that she understands about elements and how they work, how they combat, how they defend, as well as how they nurture. Boy, man, that's 9 p.m. tonight. Okay. And then I want to introduce to you, as you know, daily, we've been sharing music from and of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his latest collection. Let's Change the World. May 11th is his birthday. He'll be 87 years of age on Monday. 65 years of work amongst the world. And, you know, his life's journey is so misrepresented if you depend on media, if you depend on the snippets that I might have been exposed to in the last 43 years or others. There's snippets, you know, but his life journey has been documented through music. And I'm going to show you this box set. I think I am. His life journey has been documented through music. And so he has everybody in here, and daily we've been sharing some of the performances. I mean, we shared earlier, or yesterday, we shared Tina Marie. Prior to that, we shared Common, Snoop Dogg, and Rick Ross. And prior to that, we shared Snoop because he is the one who gave the title to the box set, Let's Change the World. He performed this title track on this presentation here in our earlier segments. Okay, so what you're going to hear here today is from our brother, the son, one of the sons of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Mother Tynetta Muhammad. This is Brother Ministry of Love, Brother Rasul Muhammad, and Minister Farrakhan entitled it, Louis Farrakhan Presents Rasul Muhammad. And the song is about Zapata. We're talking about the revolutionary out of Mexico, and he's probably one of the most underrated heroes in the history of the world. And you're going to hear this selection. It's called Zapata. Peace and power, family. I will see us all on the power call. Thank you so much.
No hay gobierno que podrá borrar el deseo de ser libre. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Hubiéramos sido amigos peleando. En mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata, con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata, Emiliano Zapata. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Hubiéramos sido amigos, Emiliano. Cantando es mi forma de decir cómo te admiro. Y en mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata, con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata, y Emiliano Zapata. Zapata, 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 Zapata. Y en mi vida quisiera ser como tú, Zapata. Quisiera ser y voy a ser con amor y valor, mi pueblo, Zapata, con amor y valor, Zapata. Zapata, 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 Zapata. Grande es aquel que da su vida por su pueblo. Deberíamos ser, con amor y calor, mi pueblo, Zapata, con amor, solo con amor, podríamos ser, hubiéramos sido.
I hope you enjoyed it, family. It's an awesome box set. It's an awesome opportunity. It's an awesome time to be in love with yourselves, your people, and our leadership. Peace and power. And family, this is the opportunity to reflect the God power in you. I left one thing out. please visit my YouTube channel, Eric Ture Muhammad. Subscribe to the channel. Share with others to do the same. Hey, Sister Pamela, share with everyone. At 6 p.m. Eastern every day, Monday through Saturday, I'm doing a program on that platform called The Quarantine Life. All right, showing people how they can build up to their $100,000 or six-figure income. I say 100,000. That's the little small goals I have for my children, but six-figure income from the safety and comfort of their homes. So please help us build that channel. Share it with everyone that you can. And I look forward to seeing us in all of our platforms today, the power call, the live presentation. I'll be back with Tay and Toya at 3 p.m. Eastern through Kalfani Radio. Family, thank you so much for the honor. I'll see us tomorrow morning. Also, 8 a.m. we'll be back at it again here with Eric Ture Muhammad. Peace and power. Forward.